Hello, this is RICKY, the Android guy. Hey guys, today I bring you another video on what should a company do in 2014. This is what should Google do in 2014. This was actually requested by the people that had liked my videos, and I thank you very much for liking these. So what should I think, what does the Android guy think Google should do for 2014? Given this a lot of thought, and it's very difficult. I would say Google is probably the most difficult company on what they should do because of the fact that Google is very unpredictable. I mean, things like Chromecast come out of nowhere, Nexus Q, Google Glass, they're very unpredictable. So with that said, this is what I think they should do for 2014. First of all, let's talk about some of the products I just mentioned. Google Glass. Now, Google Glass is going to come to a head within Q1, I believe. I mean, it should come through Q1. Google's starting to roll it out to all Google All Access people. So, Google Glass cost is number one. I really think this is going to be the biggest determining factor if this product does well or not. At 1,500, it's so much money, even to people as loyal to Google as I am. I myself have not bought a Google Glass because for 1,500, it's very hard to justify in my mind. I don't necessarily want it to be my primary device, the one that I'm going to talk on every day and everything like that. I don't want it to be. But at the same time, when I went to San Francisco about a week and a half ago, I was very jealous of two people I saw with Google Glass, and I wanted to kind of beat them up and take their Google Glass. So there you go. So cost is going to be the number one thing. Two is definitely going to be, should this be a phone or should this be an accessory? Now, a lot of people have talked about, well, why isn't the Galaxy Gear? Why aren't these phones, or why aren't these accessories phones themselves? Why can't everything be in one device? And here's the thing. It's not going to happen, really. I mean, if you really think about it, it's not going to be as successful. We have cell phone watches overseas. They make cell phone watches. They make them. They're 3G, and that's what makes them last long. LTE won't be on a watch. It's just the battery and size and no. But it's not. I don't think it's as good as some people think it's going to be. And for that reason, actually, I think Google Glass should be an accessory, not a full-on phone. And the reason I think that is because I like the same concept of the watch on my eyes, for my glasses. I think that's a very good concept. I can make calls using Google now. I can do everything, and I can work through Bluetooth 4.0 to my device. I really like that. I think it's a great idea, and I would buy that more so. Not to mention that it allows Google to bring the cost down tremendously. Instead of this $1,500 cost, you have it going closer to the $400, $500 cost, which I think is more than worth it for that price. I would definitely get it for 500, but 500 is kind of my breaking point. I don't know if I could spend more than 500 on Google Glass and justify it. Because it is a device that is an extra. I feel that you don't necessarily need, and it isn't necessarily better than the current devices. I mean, you're not going to have a Snapdragon 800 on Google Glass, and if you do, I mean, then I'm all for it. But you are losing some things with Google Glass that you would have on a normal device, so it has to weigh out evenly. And for that reason, I think either Google Glass has to be finally Google's contract device, which Google hasn't done. The Nexuses do not have contract, or it has to be something different. So sorry it took a long time on that, but Google Glass I feel is going to be a big thing, a big fail or success for Google. Chromecast 2. How can you improve on Chromecast? Chromecast took all of us technology people by surprise. $35, you can wirelessly stream to your TV with an HDMI and a Wi-Fi network. Those are the only two components you need for Chromecast, and that's about it. And with that, you can stream YouTube, Netflix, which are the two most important ones they needed. That was all they needed. If they did that alone, they would be enough. You can also stream your Chrome from your PC, from your Android, from your iOS device. I mean, the fact that Google did it on iOS and Android was really, I mean, because it took people, well, why buy an Apple TV for $100 when you can get this? And it does the main thing you want it to do, which is YouTube and Netflix. Again. But now that they've done Hulu and everything like that, how could they improve Chromecast with Chromecast 2 if they do make one? Um, Maybe charge $5 to $10 more. So instead of 35, it would be 40 or $45, and allow the device to mirror entirely. Now, this would probably only be Android because I don't think they could do Apple. I'm not sure. But I think if they would do that, awesome. If they can mirror it entirely, that would be ideal. And I think that would just kind of, man, it would take all these other things like Roku and, all these other streaming Netgears, all these other ones, and useless. Chromecast is the way of the future. Chrome OS. Now, this is something that I get into with a couple of my friends that are also Android enthusiasts and some that aren't Android enthusiasts. What will take for Chrome to succeed? So here's the thing. People want to switch to Chrome. People want to switch to Chrome. If you ask everyone in the world, oh, what do you like better, Windows, Google, or Apple? Although in the US it might be very much Apple, Google is such a high one between the two dynamics. If you're a Windows user or if you're an Apple user, you would rather switch to Chrome. And that's why Chrome has so much potential, because Google's so loved and everyone uses Google services. So Chrome just needs a few things. For one, Google Drive needs to be to the point where it can replace Office, and it's not there yet. Especially, I mean, with word processing, it pretty much can do mostly everything Office Word can do. But with PowerPoint and Excel, it is so far behind, and it needs improvement, plain and simple. I mean, look, Apple's so far behind with numbers to Excel, and they've been doing it a lot longer than Google has. But what Chrome really needs is a couple of things, and that is, one, it needs Google editing softwares for photo editing, video editing, and music editing. It cannot be third party, or if it is third party, it has to be some amazing third party. You're talking M Audio, you're talking Photoshop. You need to bring the big headers, Google, because right now, as it is, this is one of the main things that's stopping people from going to Chrome, is that they need Photoshop, they need Premiere, they need Final Cut, they need M Audio, they need these Pro Tools, they need these high-end ones, and they don't have to even, you don't have to even do that, like that high-end, but if you get close to that kind of quality, if I could do layer editing for photos on Chrome, if I can do really good video editing, I would definitely give Chrome a serious try of replacing my Windows computers entirely. And finally, you need accounting software. Now, this is a big one because really you have to go to Intuit. They own Quicken, QuickBooks, Mint, all those. They really have to design something for Chrome, something that's entirely useful and that basically is their Windows software on Chrome. If you get those three things, so you need to replace Office, you need to replace editing software, and you need to replace counting software. Those three things, Google, and you will overtake, Chrome will easily overtake Windows and OS X. It will, because people are waiting for a different platform that is better than the two. And that's what Chrome can be. Chrome has the popularity, it just needs the tools. Nexus. What should they do for the Nexus lineup? No more LG. Look, HTC had one phone for the Nexus. Samsung had two. LG now had two. Give it to someone else. You can say LG did did a good job, which I feel they did. I mean, I feel the Nexus lineup is in some ways better than their own lineup. I think their Nexus have been their best phones, really. Um, so I would say give it to someone else. You did popularize LG because LG was no one before the Nexuses. If you really think about it, what did they have at the time? They had their Optimus phones that weren't doing anything. But, the Nexus 4 really brought popularity. Then the Optimus G came out, or it came out around the same time. And some people started noticing it more. But after the Nexus 4 popularity, the G2 became very popular, and then the Nexus 5 came out. So I think the Nexus lineup was really good to LG, but I think it should be moved on now phone-wise. I think it should be, Sony, maybe. I mean, they're a good competitor that's really trying to get into the market now. Maybe them. Motorola, why not do the ultimate Nexus phone? Because honestly, Motorola needs it. Motorola is really going for prepaid now with this 179 Moto G and then 99 Moto G. But these are 3G devices. And I feel a Nexus one with high-end, Google hardware and software combined, especially because it's what a lot of purists want to see. A lot of purists love stock Android. I'm not the biggest fan of stock Android anymore. I think it needs updating, which I'll go into in a second. But, people want to see that. And that's what I feel that this can have the potential to do. Or my third choice, I debated between Asus, but Asus I really think is done good with tablets. So I think let the Asus be the 7-inch tablet and the 10-inch tablet. I think they'll do good with that. But really, I think the other one for a phone should be Lenovo. Lenovo has made an impressive feat, and that is making battery life that's amazing for 7-inch and 10-inch tablets. Let's see what they can do with a phone. Let's see a Lenovo battery in a Google device with stock Android for the next Nexus flagship device. I think that would be really good. The only thing I can't say about Lenovo is how good their cameras are traditionally, which I don't think is that good, but I haven't used them in a while, so I can't really say that. We'll see. But that's one thing that I would be interested in seeing. Android 5.0. Sorry for the time. I know we're going a little long. Android 5.0. This is my thing for Android 5.0. What I want to see. Learn from the launchers. Learn from the launchers. Learn from TouchWiz, from Sense. There are certain things in these interfaces of Android that I feel are better than stock Android. Something as simple as the battery percentage indication, something as simple as split screen, something as, these are certain things or animations that they're just different. And I did the video on, I think it was 7 things I would change about stock Android, and all those things I still want to change. But that's what I think Google should do. Learn from what else is out there to improve stock Android. And more so, unify with Chrome. Chrome and Android need to eventually merge, I feel. I feel that's going to be the best thing for it. Eric Schmidt has, alluded to it. And I think that's what's going to really help, is that once those two are unified and they really become more and more, I think seeing Android on a laptop would be something amazing to behold, or a dual booted version I think would be great. And I would love to see that maybe for Android 5.0, we see a dual booted Chrome and Android laptop, or Chromebook rather. And what about their surprise? Google always has some surprise every year. 2013 it was Chromecast, and it was not only Chromecast, it was Chromecast and it was Google Glass. 2012 it was the Nexus 7 that blew everyone out of the water, and it was like, oh my god, this is so crazy. And the fact that they had a Nexus 4, 7, and 10. So what should 2014 behold? Honestly, the one thing I would kind of think would be really, really cool is if Google brought a gaming console. Now, hear me out. right now we have, the big two, PlayStation and Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. You have these two huge gaming consoles fighting off for hardcore gamers. But for casual gamers, the Wii U really hasn't fulfilled what it needs to do. So what do? Google should become in negotiations with Nintendo and PlayStation to bring old gaming consoles and Android games to a device like the Ouya or like all these. But Google should bring it. Motorola, should come out with it and under Google and really do something crazy here. I mean, because really, if you have, a Snapdragon 805 processor gaming console for, you know, $300, $400. It's only Wi-Fi, so it doesn't have to have LTE or anything like that. And it connects to it, and you get a gaming controller, for it, like Moga and all these other game controllers, or the Samsung one, all these cool gaming controllers, and you get that for Android. So you have Android gaming, right? But then you have something else. You have licensed games from Nintendo and PlayStation, and it could really, really take the casual gamers to a whole nother level. And I don't know if Sony and Nintendo would really see this as a threat because they're getting a lot of money from their licensed games, and it could only be old games. It doesn't have to be any new games. You could bring back Mario RPG, Mario Kart, PlayStation 1 games like Final Fantasy 7, all these kind of things. You can bring those to Android, and I think it would be truly remarkable. So that is what I think Google should do in 2014. Sorry it took so long, but obviously this was a big one for the Android guy to answer. So hopefully I answered what you guys think they should do or kind of brought something to your attention. What do you think Google should do? Leave it in the comment section down below and give a thumbs up if you did like this video. Thank you for watching. This is RICKY, the Android Guy.